Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from Vietnam. Welcome to our webinar, the number 4 webinar of EduVerse. Before we start, can you tell me if you can hear me well? Can you just type yes in the chat box or just give me a thumb up in the reaction? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lily. It's great to see that we have attendance from all around places, from Vietnam, Greece, and the Philippines. And I believe that we are having another wonderful session today. So today, the session will be about how to build a profitable teaching brain. And I'm thrilled to have you all here today again with us. Before we delve into our main topic, let me just quickly introduce our esteemed presenter, Ms. Ola Kovaska. Ola is an expert in ELT and a business coach. With her own consultancy under the name Ola Kovaska, she helps freelance language teachers build teaching businesses. Now, a word about EduVerse, the driving force behind today's webinar. Powered by ProEd Education Solutions, EduVerse is committed to providing educators with invaluable learning opportunities and resources, from monthly newsletters on cutting-edge educational trends to live webinars every 2 months. We're dedicated to your professional growth, all at free of charge. Today, with her extensive background in English teaching and building teaching businesses, Ola will share insights into how teachers can establish a reliable brain for themselves and offer helpful tips on utilizing social media to achieve this goal. After this webinar, please take a moment to complete a short survey to help us serve you better. Certificates will be emailed to you within 3 days. Without further ado, let's now immerse ourselves into the world of building our teaching brain. Feel free to ask questions and observe all you can from this session. Thank you for your attention. And Ms. Ola Kovaska, over to you.
Good morning. Thank you, Han, for a lovely introduction. Welcome, everybody. I hope you can hear me as well. I'm really, really excited to be here, and I hope you're going to enjoy this session. Feel free to ask me any questions throughout or at the end. I hope to be able to answer them all. So let's begin. Let's dive in. Wonderful. All righty. So branding, how to build a profitable teaching brand. That's what we are talking about today. So a few more words about me. My name is Ola Kowalska, and I'm a business coach and mentor for language teachers and other professionals in the language industry. I am a former teacher, a CELTA trainer. I don't know how popular CELTA is in Vietnam, but it's a well-renowned qualification, I guess. I was an ADOS and a school owner as well, so I've got multiple perspectives in the ELT industry. And I believe in teaching the language on your own terms. That's why I've decided to open my own business, because I believe that teachers and other people are allowed, or it's actually should be encouraged, that they do things their own way with freedom of choice, who to work with, how to work, and how much money also they want to make, because that's also an important element of building your own brand, building your own business. My approach is a human-first approach, no BS. I believe in making learning and coaching accessible because of, or through neurodiversity. And I also believe in authenticity and building brands and building marketing strategies that are deeply human, not just a set of steps that anyone has to follow or copy from somebody else. I believe in things being personalized, and yeah, because that's we've got way too many things that look the same in the industry and in online, in the world online in general. And personally, finally, I'm a mom, a wife. I do have ADHD myself. I'm a very, very passionate driver. I'm not a professional driver, but I just love driving, and I listen to audiobooks obsessively. So hopefully by the end of this session, you will have understood the benefit of building a teaching brand. You will have got to know the steps of building a brand strategy and learned what elements a brand needs to have. You will also have had your questions answered. So please feel free to prepare them till the end or just ask me throughout. So my first question is, and I would love for you to write one of the letters in the chat box. Where are you now when it comes to your own personal teaching brand? Are you A, I'm just a teacher like everyone else working for schools, institutions, or freelance? Are you more of a B, I'm starting to make a name for myself, which might mean I mainly work freelance? Or are you more of a C? People know me for my specific thing and come to me with very specific problems, which means I own a business, you own a business. Which one are you? Please do let me know. Let me have a look at the chat. Okay, so we've got a lot of actually, it's a mix. A, B, C, B, A, B, A, A, B, B, and C, A, A, B. Okay, a perfect mix. So last time I ran a very similar session, it was mainly B. It's always interesting to me to see how people are different. So there is no judgment here. I hope, and I'm hoping that everybody will take something out of this session. Let's move on then. So let's start with why even build a brand. So building a brand is basically, the reason for building a brand is basically can be kind of summarized within that one picture. How much do you think an average coffee sold by somebody, a no-name basically brand, would cost compared to how much a coffee at Starbucks would cost? I believe that somebody at some point did a study and they realized that there is actually less coffee in an average coffee at Starbucks than there is in any other coffee place. Still, Starbucks is considered to be one of the most expensive, popular brands for coffee and coffee shops in the world, right? So this is the power of a brand. They have made a name for themselves. And while we may think at the beginning that all it took was building this logo with a kind of I don't even know what it represents, but I bet that everybody can recognize the Starbucks logo. It's not just that. There is so much more. There is a certain feeling that a lot of people have when it comes to Starbucks. I wonder actually if Starbucks is popular in your countries. Let me know in the chat. I have a particular story around Starbucks. So I remember I'm originally from Poland, and when I was in my early 20s, I worked as a group leader. So I worked as a person who would take Polish teenagers to different places where they were studying English and as well as traveling a little bit. And one of those years in 2014, I believe, we went to New York. And I remember that the first thing that those kids wanted to do was to go to Starbucks. So it wasn't about coffee, obviously, because they could have had coffee for free at the place where we were staying. They just needed and wanted the experience. So building a brand, a profitable brand, a popular brand, gives you that. It causes feelings and it causes for people to like kind of want to experience what you've got to offer. So just to clarify, an average coffee is $1.25. An average Starbucks coffee is $3.25. Are they that different? Probably not. Very unlikely, actually. So building a personal teaching brand is the perfect antidote to being yet another language teacher, aka a commodity, which was a question that was even asked before we kind of gathered here to have this training. How do you stand out? You stand out by building a brand. So now we are, oh, sorry, that was not supposed to be here. We are now going into the steps of building a brand strategy. And there are 5 of them. There is discovering yourself, there is finding your people, there is developing an offer, there is gaining visibility, and there is consistency. So as you can probably see, I wonder how many of you actually thought that building a brand is only about those visuals. So if you think about my visuals, obviously you probably notice I do like yellow quite a lot. I do have a certain logo. I do, there is something quite distinctive about what I do. But still, it's not just about that. It's about all those elements together. And I'm going to talk you through them much more thoroughly so you have a better understanding. So we're going to start by discovering yourself. This is a picture taken from one of my favorite books of all time. It's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Feel free to make a note, because I think that this book has literally a chance to change your life. In the book, the author mentions a concept of going through zones that are related to our professional, sometimes even personal development. Everybody at the beginning starts at the zone of incompetence. Then, if they improve, they go into the zone of competence. Then they go into the zone of excellence. But not many people actually go into the zone of genius. So to explain that more on a real life example, everybody, when they start their teaching journey, they are a bit incompetent. We are not great at it. We don't know how to manage a classroom. We don't know how to prepare a good lesson plan. We don't know how to help people achieve their goals, how to help them with learning. But then we soon move on to zone of competence. We start getting how to do it, how to plan, how to make it better for all those people. If we stay there long enough, we may even move on to zone of excellence. And a lot of people stay there, as I said. So it's something that you do extremely well. So maybe you specialize in teaching a specific type of classes. Maybe you really love exams. Maybe you really love pronunciation. Maybe you really love a certain type of people, right? So it's really good to be there, but I think there is more. And not many people kind of dare. But jumping into your zone of genius is when time basically stops existing. It feels as if you were just born to do this certain thing. So I would say that it's not only just teaching, but it's a specific area in teaching that feels so natural that it's like, it as it says here, that it draws upon your special gifts or strengths. And when you're doing it, the time stops existing. So it's a beautiful kind of way of discovering or trying to see if you're already in your zone of genius. I know when I am in my zone of genius because I literally forget that the time exists. Then I wonder if you ever felt like this. Let me know in the chat, please, if you feel that you've ever been in your zone of genius. Maybe that happens to you quite regularly. I'm curious about your answers. Absolutely. Great. Amazing. Okay, wonderful. If anybody else wants to share, please let me know. If you want to share what that is, when that feels like a zone of genius, that would be great. So that's one way of discovering yourself. Another way is this kind of like Venn diagram that, let me explain what the elements are. So the first element is what you're qualified to do. So if you're the right target audience for me, you're probably teachers. You're probably teachers of language even. So you probably got qualified. And it doesn't really matter what qualification you have. You may have a university degree, you may have a certificate or a diploma in teaching, but it's basically the paper that says what you were qualified to do. And that's only element number one. Element number two is what you're passionate about. So within that qualification, like I remember when I first qualified as a teacher, everybody thought that I would teach kids for the longest time possible because I'm energetic. I really, really liked it at the beginning, but it wasn't my zone of genius. It wasn't something I was passionate about. So I very quickly moved on from teaching kids to other things that I could do. And the final thing, and I think that people forget, is what people are willing to pay for. So it's not people, employers. It's not people who would pay you to work for them, because those people usually pay for you to have as many things that you are good at. So I remember when I used to work as a manager in a language school, we would always ask in job interviews, so what experience have you got? And the more experience the teacher had in many fields, the better. In building your own business and your own brand, it's actually choosing one area that is a combination of your qualification, your passion, and what people are willing to pay for. And that's brilliant middle is where you are, is your recipe for success, is your unique selling point in your business and your brand. Sorry, that's the same slide. The next thing, the next step of building a brand is finding your people. So it's not about trying to help everybody. So unfortunately, it's one of those very tricky things, especially if your experience is within helping every possible learner in the classroom. In building a business, in building a brand, we have to choose. We have to be quite selective and eliminate people that we can't help. So for example, I had to eliminate teachers of other subjects, for example. When I was building my personal brand from the ground up, I decided to focus only on language teachers. It doesn't mean that what I teach doesn't apply to other teachers, but I've decided that I will mainly work with language teachers. And honestly, that's where the profit comes from. That's where the success comes from, because those people feel connected with me and they feel that I am an expert in that area. So here are some questions that might help you find your people. So your, in other words, target audience or niche. Who have you worked with before and really enjoyed? As simple as that. Who has the best results from working with you? When you think about your past clients, past students, no matter if they were private or in when you worked for somebody else, who had the best results? Who were you the most proud of? Because these are likely to be the type of people you would want to work with again. What kind of people do you have best access to? Because you also have to find those clients, right? So who are you already connected with? What kind of people? Are they professionals? Are they parents of children? Are they teenagers? Are they students? Are they academic people? Are they people at your age? Are they travelers? Who are they? How are you going to access them? Because a lot of people think that building a business is about creating content, because that's what most of the world is doing at the moment. But building a sustainable business, to me, is about connections. So this is crucial. I wouldn't start by choosing a group that is the furthest from you, and you basically don't have access to them, and you think that you're going to build content and they're going to come. I think that's quite risky. So I would start closer to home, basically. I would start with people that you already know and can even reach out to personally. Where can those people be found? Where do they hang out? Do you have contact, like personal contact with some of them? Or could you contact them via some means, like a Facebook group? Could it be a WhatsApp channel? Could it be anything that comes to mind? But where would you actually find them? How can you contact those people? So that's kind of similar, so I'm not going to go into that. And the most important question here that you need to be asking yourself, because in order to build a brand, you are not just selling yourself. You are solving a problem for people. So what is those people's problem? The problem is also not a linguistic problem. This problem is not something that can be solved by explaining something that you're good at in the classroom. That's not a problem that a client has. A client usually has a life problem, a problem that affects their career, their academic success, their relationships, or their social situation. So you need to establish what that is. For example, when I was building my brand, I quickly realized that my target audience's problem is the fact that they don't know enough, about business to build a profitable business. So my expertise is in helping them solve that. So I'm not sharing tips for business for free. I am helping them solve a problem. So I am helping them do something so that they can build a profitable brand, so that they can make more money, so that they can find their own clients. A problem that a learner might have that is not a classroom problem, it is, for example, they want to move to a foreign country and they need to learn the language. They need to, let's say, pass a certain exam, because that would help them apply for a university. They want to learn a language because their family has speaks that language, or their partner speaks that language. So those problems are not understanding some grammar or some whatever aspect of the language. The problem is deeper. The problem is a life problem. So this is really crucial. And that's the end of step 2. Step 3 is developing an offer. So once you know who you are, once you've discovered yourself, once you've discovered your people, you are going to develop an offer. The best offer helps one specific person. So that's why it's so crucial to understand what those people's problems are. So for example, if the problem of your target audience is that they don't know how to use the language when they move to a new country of their kind of desired country, maybe it is an English-speaking country, let's say it's the UK, then your offer will be helping them solve that. So that specific person cannot be a person who either wants to move to a different country and, let's say, find a job. It needs to be one specific person with one specific problem, because these are the most effective offers. It can be a one-to-one program, a group class, a digital product, or a service. So it really depends on your context and your business model, what you want to create there. It needs to be a solution to that problem, as I said, that those people have in their lives, so not just language. The value in that offer comes from the impact that this solution, transformation, or change has on their lives. Many teachers that I work with charge based on the time that they spend with students. So for example, charging whatever, $10, $20, $30 an hour. When you build a good offer, you're not charging by the hour. You're charging by the result that the person is getting at the end. Step number 4 is gaining visibility. So we need to be asking ourselves some questions. We need to become clear on where those people are, so that we can show to the world that we're ready to help, that there is an offer that is there to help them solve their problems. So the first question is, where do those people that you've decided you were going to work with hang out? If you're building a brand online, then it's basically answering a question: which social media are they most likely to spend time on? I always say that it's very good to look for very specific Facebook groups, because that's where a lot of people of the same profile hang out. So rather than trying to kind of like stand out everywhere, I would say it's usually easier to kind of get into a community where that target audience already is, and speak to them there, reach out to them there. The next thing is, where can you stay consistent? So a lot of teachers ask me, which social media channel is the best? I do not have an answer to that because it doesn't depend on my authoritarian kind of opinion on which platform is the best, because I have clients who make Instagram work. I have clients who make TikTok work. I have clients who make YouTube work. I have clients who make LinkedIn work. There is so many of different platforms depending on where your people are and where you can stay consistent. So for me personally, it is writing emails to people. I am the most consistent at writing emails. Another channel that I use is having a podcast, which I think has a great impact on people. But is that going to be the same for you? I don't know. You need to first ask yourself this question. Where are you going to stay consistent? Who are the people that have your people in their audience already? So nobody really talks about marketing when it comes to through the prism of networking. You need to make or build for yourself opportunities to network, because that's one of the easiest ways. So, for example, one of the ways I'm gaining visibility now, or I am at the same time doing like two things at the same time, killing two birds with one stone or feeding two birds with one bun, is I'm doing this webinar. So I'm helping people with solving a certain problem, with understanding a concept of building a brand, but at the same time, I am gaining visibility because in this audience here are people who might be interested in working with me. So it's one of those really good strategies to try out. Again, it's less comfortable for many people than creating content every day, because creating content is something that you do behind the scenes and you feel quite safe. Networking and collaborating with other people or institutions is hard, but at the same time, it's 10 times more effective. Another thing is, how can you make sure every marketing activity counts? So I would say that marketing is misunderstood by most educators. We think that marketing is basically posting and posting and posting and posting. Marketing is not that. Marketing is making people discover you, but then helping them make a decision to work with you. So good marketing doesn't constantly educate people about something. Good marketing attracts people and make them come closer to you and to buying from you. Because otherwise, if it's just posting, it's not marketing. It's a hobby of posting content. And finally, do you have time or can you invest money? Visibility can be absolutely built in an organic way if you have the time. If you don't have the time, you can invest money. For example, in ads. I usually do not recommend investing in ads until you've got proof that your organic ways of marketing work, because you can waste a lot of money on ads if you do it too early. And finally, it's about consistency. Staying consistent with your brand so that you become associated, you become known for something, is really, really important. So it's about choosing the colors. It's about doing things consistently, reaching out to people, creating a content strategy. So as I said, not just posting more, but creating a content strategy that allows people to come closer, building a funnel. A funnel is basically a situation where people get to know you or find out about you, and you create a situation where they come closer and closer to buying from you. And finally buy, because that's the whole point. People need to be buying from you, because otherwise you just have an expensive hobby that takes a lot of energy as well of being present on social media. So if you want to build a brand, if you want to be getting your own clients, you need to be consistent with your brand. So what are the parts of a brand? There is brand mission, vision, and values. There is a brand message, and there are the visuals. So a little bit more about these. What is a brand mission, vision, and values? This allows you to create a mission statement. So a mission statement is basically your whole reason why you're doing things and a way for you to talk about your business, which is fantastic when you're pitching people, when you're talking to them about how you can help them, when you're posting and kind of encouraging people to get in touch or to buy something from you or to book your classes. The questions to ask yourself are what, why, and to what end. Let me give you an example. I help, so that's the what, the pink part. I help freelance language teachers to build profitable and sustainable online businesses through my programs, courses, and workshops. Why? Because I believe that teachers can change the world. To what end? I do it so that teachers can thrive in their profession, make a positive difference in their students' lives, and enjoy the benefits of financial abundance, flexibility, and living life on their own terms. So this formula is fantastic for discovering how you help your people, what you do for them, why you do it, and to what end. So what desire there is, because basically my target audience's desire is to thrive in their profession, to make a difference, to be financially abundant, to be flexible and free. The brand message is what you use, the language that you use in every communication that is out there that is related to your teaching brand. So whether it is emails, posts, even the way you speak to people. You probably noticed that I have a specific tone of voice. It is my personal tone of voice, but also it's my brand. It's also the style, the personality, and the native language. So for example, when I say, here is my new podcast episode, it's a very, very flat message. But if I want to do it my way, I would say, I'm so excited to share my new podcast episode with you. I know you're going to love it, because this tone of voice is much more enthusiastic and friendly, which is exactly how my brand is. So discovering that is a little bit more of an advanced strategy, but I think it's really, really useful because that's another way how you stand out. People will start associating you with a certain feeling. So I want people to feel energetic, like happy when they interact with my brand. So again, that's what we do. We are not just sharing information about our services or about things that we do, or even the educational posts. We do it in our way so that it's memorable. And finally, there is core messaging. An example is my one of the things that there is a lot of talk about in the English language teaching world is that you need to be a native speaker to be successful at language. I personally don't believe that, and many of my clients don't believe that either. So one of the core messages that one of my clients has in her brand is, you don't have to speak the language like a native speaker. Look at me, because she is a non-native speaker and she speaks perfectly, fluently. So it became one of the core messages in her business for her to stand out from the crowd. Because if everybody online says, speak like a native, then this is going to be something that will be different. So it's a core message of her business. And finally, the third part of the brand is the visuals. There is the logo, the brand name, colors and typography, pictures and graphics. So I wouldn't spend too much time on it, because I think that these are the kind of decisions that, yes, they will make you stand out, they will make you different, but they don't change things. They don't move the needle in your business. They look nice, but it's not what matters the most. What matters the most is actually reaching out to people and making offers to them. So yes, absolutely. Invest some time, because I wouldn't invest in a designer at the beginning. Create a very simple logo. create a simple brand name. So my brand name is Ola Coaches Teachers. It might even change, but actually my website is olakowalska.com. So it's nothing special. And I've been running a very successful business. I chose my colors because they are bright, they are enthusiastic. Yellow and pink are my brand colors. I chose certain fonts. So you can see, for example, this font is one of my typical fonts, and I choose specific pictures. So if you see those little elements on that slide, that's an example of my brand pictures that I often use in my posts and everything else that I do publicly. And finally, there is consistency. So there are two types of consistency when it comes to building your brand. There is staying consistent with your brand. So as we said, it's being consistent with your core messaging. It's being consistent with your mission, vision, and values. There is consistency with the visuals and everything there. And there is also staying consistent in your efforts. And I found this little graphic somewhere on Instagram. Remember that this is consistency, but this is also consistency. This is also consistency, and this is consistency. So it doesn't look the same every day. It can absolutely look different. It can absolutely sometimes be even less than you expect, as long as you keep going, basically. So action steps for you after this. I would encourage you to first start finding yourself, then finding your people. So basically discovering your target audience. Number 3, developing an offer. So if you're still selling lessons by the hour, I would say invest some time and energy in thinking about how you can package it into an offer that helps those specific people. Decide your brand mission, vision, and values. You can use ChatGPT to find your voice, for example. So give it a little bit of your writing, and it will tell you what voice this is. Decide on the visuals, but don't spend too much time on it. Somebody is saying, I also prefer bright colors for my brand, but some may think they don't look professional enough. What do you think? That is a fantastic question. Let me hold on to that. I'll answer that in a moment. Getting visible on one platform, that's what I encourage. A lot of people try and be visible on many platforms, but when you are a freelance teacher, you basically don't have time to do it well on all the platforms. So why not start building your presence on one platform, and only when you're established, move to more. Stay consistent in your own way and make offers. So remember that being consistent is not just about being visible. It's also about reminding people that you've got something to sell, because otherwise you won't sell ever. So when it comes to your question, I think my personal rule of thumb in marketing is called attract and repel marketing. So I believe that if somebody doesn't like my branding, they are going to be repelled by it, which is good, because I don't really want to work with people who don't accept how I operate my business, right? So my brand is a personal choice, right? And I genuinely think that if you brand in a way that kind of aligns with you, you are going to attract people who are going to be more pleasant to work with. Because if they like similar things to you, they are definitely going to be on the same wavelength as you. So I wouldn't worry at all about not being professional. And a lot of teachers think that. But at the end of the day, I believe in authenticity. And if bright colors bring you joy, if it brings joy to you running your business, then do it. Just like I do it. Like, some people might not like this, but to be honest, it's not really my problem. And I've got some miscellaneous thoughts to end this. Starting with what you've got is better than trying to think of something super new or creative. So this is especially when it comes to thinking of your target audience. Start with people that you already know and have access to. If what you do already exists, it's a good sign. So don't worry about niching and then saying, oh, but there is somebody else who does it. If somebody else does it, it means that there is demand, which is good for business. You don't need to wait to build a big audience to make offers. This is one of the biggest myths in the online world. I was selling my services to an audience of 140 people on Instagram, 140 people. It wasn't even in thousands. And you can do that too, as long as you make offers from the beginning. Make sure to research your competition, because it's good to know what people do, but don't compare yourself. Don't try and please other teachers or linguistic nerds. And a lot of like 80% of teachers still do that. They post content that is interesting to other teachers. And don't fall into the trap of cosmetic decisions hindering your progress. So the colors decisions are literally not important at all compared to making offers. So make sure that you are focused on things that actually matter, that bring money, and that helps you thrive in your career, in your business. Thank you so much for having me. So a few last things to know about me. I am a business, so I do run paid offers. I run 3 courses at the moment: the Rocket Takeoff, the Rocket Fuel, and the Rocket Accelerator. All have a rocket in their name because they are very much about taking action. They are all about helping you grow your business, creating a marketing strategy, or in the Rocket Accelerator, we also build a group program that can scale your business. You can find me on my website, olakowalska.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, although I don't hang out there that much. I hang out much more on Instagram at Ola Coaches Teachers. And I also have a weekly podcast called Get Richer Teacher, and it's available in every podcasting platform. I've got a little free gift for you. If you have your phone, you can scan the QR code here. It's a free guide on 7 mistakes teachers make on social media and how to avoid them. Or you can go to olakowalska.com/7 mistakes to download it. It's going to help you create a little bit of more of a plan for your social media. I just posted the link in the chat. So this is completely free. Feel free to scan, and it will and it should pop up for you to download. And that's it for me. Time for the Q&A. If there are any questions, I would love to hear them. Let me just stop sharing.
Okay, if there are no questions, I believe that you can always connect to Miss Ola through
Absolutely.
her connecting channels later after today to ask her more questions or to consult her for some more ideas. Thank you all again for joining us today for this session, and special thanks to Ola for your inspiring presentation. We trust that the audience have gathered some valuable insights and practical ideas to enhance their personal teaching brain. Now let's just look ahead to our next exciting webinar. Please set a reminder for April the 27th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Vietnam time. We'll be diving into another engaging webinar with Dr. Christina Ekman from Colorado State University Global about artificial intelligence to enhance your teaching practice. I believe that AI has been mentioned here and there, every corner in the world these days, but that this is also a retail information and registration updates on our EduVerse platform and in our monthly newsletter. We will be releasing the very special edition of our newsletter about leadership in education on the coming March 4. You find high quality insights into leadership in education, which I think very applicable to your teaching context. So don't miss this opportunity to be the first ones to grasp a copy of our issue published online on ProEd website. Finally, we truly appreciate your active participation and look forward to reconnecting with you at our next event. Keep that flame of learning alive, and until we meet again, take care and stay curious. Thank you and have a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you, Ola, again for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Han. Thank you, everybody.